Hello everyone, today I want to show you a story of an entrepreneur who started with a humble household personality. But he had a lifelong obsession with technology. He ended up shaping billions of people over how to communicate, shop, and live their daily lives. His name is Ma Huateng, though you may know him better as Ma. He is a Chinese entrepreneur who is the founder of Tencent. The nickname is a translation of surname Ma, which means horse in Chinese. When we think of tech entrepreneurs, we often think of them with flashy personalities. For example, people like Elon Musk tweeting both Simmons or Steve Jobs standing on the stage of a new iPhone. These tech leaders are talkative and always in the spotlight, but Ma is the complete opposite. He rarely gives interviews, avoids the spotlight, and is known for being quiet. Yet this humble man has a brilliant mind that built Tencent into one of the most powerful technology companies in the world. Ma Huateng was born on October 9, 1971 in Shantou, Guangdong Province, China. His family was ordinary. Their family wasn't rich, but they highly valued education and curiosity. As a child, Ma was different from many kids around him. He was a well-behaved boy, not causing any trouble and quite introverted. When others might be out playing, he spent hours reading about science, technology, and astronomy. At the same time, Ma was getting to know more about computers and spending most of his time on the internet. In 1989, he enrolled at Shenzhen University, located in one of China's new special economic zones. Shenzhen in the late 1980s and 1990s was a place of rapid growth. Factories, skyscrapers, and tech companies were sprouting up almost overnight. It was this perfect environment for a young student fascinated by technology. Ma studied computer and applied engineering, graduating in 1993. Those years not only gave him programming skills, but it also showed him the new possibilities of the digital world that was just beginning. After university, Ma began working as a programmer at China Motion Telecom Development, a telecommunications company. His role was developing software for pagers. If you do not know what pagers are, let me explain. Before mobile phones were common, people used pagers, also known as beepers. A pager is a small device that you can carry in your pocket or clipped onto your belt. It can carry short numbers for text messages. Doctors, business people, and service workers relied on them a lot in the early 1990s. This job gave Ma very valuable insights about how people wanted to connect with each other and how fast technology was evolving. Around this time, the internet was starting to take off globally. In 1996, Ma came across a program called ICQ, the world's first instant messaging service developed in Israel. With this, people started chatting online in real time and instantly connecting across long distances. And these ideas fascinated him. He thought that why can't we create something like this for China? That question became the foundation that grew into one of the largest technology companies in the world. In 1998, Ma Huateng gathered 4 friends and co-founded Tencent Holdings Limited in Shenzhen. Like many startups, they had limited resources but a dream. Their first product was called OICQ, a Chinese version of ICQ that spread very quickly among young people and becoming extremely popular. But popularity does not always mean the same as profit. Tencent suddenly had millions of users but no money. The server costs were burning through money with no obvious path forward, and the company was struggling. To make matters worse, the owners of ICQ sued Tencent over the name OICQ, forcing Ma to rebrand. At one point, Ma even considered selling Tencent for $60,000. Think that for a moment. The company now is worth more than $1 trillion Canadian, was nearly sold half the price of a small apartment in Vancouver. Fortunately, no deal was made and Ma and his team kept fighting. That is, when he and his team made a genius move. They introduced microtransactions, which were small payments for digital items like avatars, ringtones, and customization features. This strategy not only saved the company, but also introduced a new business idea that dominates the digital markets today. With now QQ as a solid foundation, Tencent began to grow. They expanded into online gaming and acquiring huge stakes in international companies like Riot Games and Epic Games, the creators of League of Legends and Fortnite. Gaming became a massive revenue source, making Tencent a global powerhouse in entertainment. But the company's most transformative moment came in 2011 with the launch of WeChat. At first, WeChat was just another messaging app, but Ma Huateng had a vision that went beyond texting. He imagined WeChat as a super app, a single application that can handle almost every part of the daily life, and that's exactly what it became. Today, WeChat is used for chatting, ordering food, paying bills, booking taxis, shopping online, and playing games. The payment system, WeChat Pay, is so widespread that in many Chinese cities, cash has practically disappeared. From restaurants to luxury stores, everyone accepts WeChat. For many people in China, living without WeChat is unimaginable. This app has an ecosystem that combines communication and commerce all in one place. Pony Ma's vision turned Tencent from a successful technology company into being integrated in the daily life. No companies became successful without risks and challenges. Tencent's rise came with numerous challenges, but what makes Tencent and Pony Ma remarkable is that he is adaptive and now is looking at the bigger picture so that they can keep Tencent at the front of the tech race. From the very beginning, Tencent was fighting against other giant Chinese companies. Alibaba dominated e-commerce, Baidu led search engines, and even the newer companies like ByteDance with Douyin, a TikTok's Chinese counterpart, was threatening Tencent's dominance in social media. Instead of being intimidated, Ma Huateng adapted his strategy and believed Tencent as a platform company, so it can connect users together. When rivals tried to dominate in one area, Tencent responded by making sure users had interconnected services under Tencent that leaves the rival become inconvenient. For example, you chat with your friends on WeChat, then share a game invite on the same app, then order dinner on WeChat Pay, and while eating, watch a Tencent produced show through WeChat. So when rivals tried to dominate in one area, Tencent expanded horizontally. Pony Ma also did not cling on to past victories. He pushed his team to innovate quickly and even launching competing apps internally to see which one works better. That was how WeChat was born. Rather than protecting QQ at all costs, Ma is willing to cannibalize his own business to innovate at the bigger picture. Instead of waiting to be dragged down by other businesses, he is willing to drag his own business down so he can push his other businesses forward. This kept Tencent leading at the tech race. Next is the global challenge. Tencent was huge in China, but struggled to gain recognition abroad. In the West, Tencent was often depicted as a shady Chinese company, rather than a well-known name as Google or Facebook. So, instead of forcing Tencent to look better by the skeptical Western consumers, Ma Huateng chose a quieter path by buying stakes on Riot Games, Epic Games, and even on Tesla. By investing into well-known companies instead of competing head-on, Tencent can gain global reach without making unnecessary attention. This approach reflected Pony Ma's personality, less about the spotlight, more about the results. Another problem Tencent and the team faced was government regulations about online gaming. The Chinese government implemented strict rules about time on online gaming. For Tencent, the gaming business was a huge revenue source and this was a serious blow. But instead of fighting the rules, Pony Ma focused on compliance and guided the company to diversify and expanded into other industries like cloud computing, fintech, and enterprise services. By doing this, Pony Ma spread out Tencent's income streams, so if one area got hit by regulations like games, the whole company will not sink, and the other businesses can keep it afloat. Even as new antitrust laws in China place more weight on Tencent, Ma continued to manage these risks by staying humble and avoid unnecessary political exposure. While some tech leaders made headlines on enemies with bold public statements, Pony Ma remained calm and looked at big pictures to solve the problems. So, what makes Ma Huateng a remarkable entrepreneur? Unlike many CEOs in the tech industry, he is not loud, dramatic, nor obsessed with public attention. He avoids interviews with large audiences and rarely gives speeches. Even when he does, he speaks softly, short with answers, and avoids drawing too much attention by making bold claims. Pony Ma is known for being humble to success and more focused about results than appearance. Employees often describe him as a listener who gathers opinions then make a wise decision quietly. For example, when Tencent realized that mobile messaging will replace desktop chat, Ma didn't assign one official project. Instead, he allowed multiple teams to compete with their own ideas, and the best one, WeChat, rose to the top naturally. Pony Ma also gave a perfect example of how innovation does not always just come from the top of the company. But being quiet doesn't always mean softness. At times, Pony Ma has shown to be sharp and blunt when he feels Tencent is slipping. In the late 2022, for example, he criticized employees for being bloated and inefficient, warning against laziness. He even singled out those who seemed to be more interested in chilling in the weekends and playing ball than fixing underperforming areas. While Tencent was dealing with internal corruption, Pony Ma described some problems as scary and shocking, which made it clear that discipline and accountability were non-negotiable. These moments show another side of his leadership, quiet in public, but will openly blast at his team when he thinks they are underperforming, which will risk the company's competitive edge if he did nothing. Ma Huateng sets high standards, and when he feels his company is starting to slide, he isn't afraid to step in and shake people awake. With his firm grip on Tencent and with a lifelong obsession with technology, it makes Ma Huateng one of the most iconic leaders in the tech industry. The impact of Ma Huateng and Tencent is enormous. In China, Tencent has reshaped the daily life, making WeChat and QQ essential parts of communication, finance, and entertainment. Without WeChat, it will be hard to pay in many areas as they don't accept cash, which I learned the hard way. Without WeChat, you also lose the most common messaging app. That's how Tencent is woven into modern Chinese life. To see how widespread Tencent's influence is in everyday life, I interviewed 3 friends currently living in Canada but moved from China recently. And now let's take a look at the first one. Normally, I use WeChat to check homework or message certain people. Occasionally, I'll check Pengyoquan, a feature on WeChat, to see if there are any life updates from people that I added that might be of interest. I am relying on WeChat to receive updates in a specific chat and to message certain people, whom this is our primary or only contact method between us. So for him, WeChat is mostly a practical thing, like checking your homework and keeping in touch, and seeing the occasional Pengyoquan update. It's also kind of essential, like for those people, the only way you can access is through WeChat. And it's not really about scrolling and posting. Now let's check my next friend. Communication, pay money, services and convenience, work and business, and that's why I use WeChat. Right, so basically they're saying that WeChat is kind of all in one thing, chatting, paying, using service, and even for work and business. He is saying that it just makes life easier. And it really just shows how WeChat reach goes, it's not just for social stuff anymore. Now let's see what our last interviewer says. Technically, I use WeChat in my daily life. I would say that such as North Americans use Snapchat in class take a freak photo. I don't have Snapchat, so I don't know what it is. So and send it to a group chat. Basically, to Chinese, we use that to text our friends or on a video call. There's a mode called Moment, and it's like post on Instagram. But Chinese people use that so much, it's more like stories. There's also a paying mode. You can connect it with your credit/debit card, or you can save the changes on the bank. You can also e-transfer money through chats or group chats, and you can send a red pack in a group that can split the money or get it by clicking split it. He also says that that's only the basic stuff. So yeah, what he is saying is that WeChat is really part of everyday life. Kind of like how Americans use Snapchat or Instagram, but even more integrated. They can use it for like calling, texting, or sharing moments. Even for payments, like you can transfer money, send those little red packs in your group chats, and basically handle everything without leaving the app. It's like almost your full lifestyle tool, So after hearing all 3 of them, it is pretty clear that WeChat is it's not just a messaging app. It's like a whole ecosystem, Some people just use it for simple things like checking homework or messaging friends, or some people rely on it for payment, work, and just daily convenience. And there's like stuff on like moments and red packs that makes a part of everyday life. It's like everything just happens inside WeChat, like communication, business, and even social life. It's really interesting to see how one app can become so important in people's routines in China. Not just about the routines globally, Tencent has extended its reach by investing in companies like Tesla, Spotify, and Snapchat. In gaming, Tencent owns the Riot Games. He just holds a huge stakes in Epic Games and has investments in Activision Blizzard, which owns Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Diablo. These moves gave Tencent global influence without putting their own name on everything, and quietly supporting leaders in each industry. Economically, Tencent has created thousands of jobs and contributed to Shenzhen's transformation into one of the world's largest influential cities. Once a small fishing village, Shenzhen is now called the Silicon Valley of China, and Tencent's rise is part of that. Ma Huateng's story is like a blueprint for young entrepreneurs like us. He proves that quiet rise through focus and vision proves that there are many paths to greatness. His life teaches us that innovation is about seeing things that others don't, adapting when things fall apart, and even staying grounded no matter how high you rise. From this story, we can draw several key lessons. First, spot opportunities early. Pony Ma saw the potential of instant messaging and got right into it before other people saw it. Second, be resilient and adapt to change. At one point, Tencent was nearly broke, and Pony Ma was even considering selling it. Instead of selling his dream, he found a new revolutionary way to earn money through microtransactions, which later shifted into other streams of income when governments applied the gaming restrictions. Third, always look at the big picture. Ma Huateng cannibalized his first business, QQ, to push forward another business called WeChat. Pony Ma was never short-sighted and always willing to sacrifice and risk for the greater good. Finally, stay humble. Success doesn't always have to be loud. Sometimes a quiet and steady approach like his can be more effective. To wrap it up, Ma Huateng was destined to be a great leader. He was extraordinary as a kid and showed curiosity, quiet perseverance, and a great vision throughout his life. This vision not only transformed into a company, but an entire way of life for a generation in China. Pony Ma did not set out and try to be famous. He did not try to dominate the headlines. Instead, he followed his passion for technology quietly and led his company into history. A clear sense of purpose can lay the groundwork for extraordinary achievements. Thanks everyone for listening.